All right, 1101. Here we are at week 7. We are very close to getting to the end of our first half of the semester, the 1101 portion, comp and rhetoric. So, what you have this week, of course, you turned in your first version of your argumentative and persuasive essay. That was the one that was not to contain any research. However, if you felt that you absolutely had to incorporate research because you borrowed information, you looked at a source, say you had a book open next to you, you had your screen in front of you with something from the internet, of course, you have to do your due diligence and cite your source. It would be unethical and plagiarization. It would be stealing to have done otherwise. So the next one, the one that incorporates research, it's based on the essay you've just written. So you already have the skeleton there. You already have the template for it. But in 2 weeks' time, the MLA research version is going to be due. This is going to require you to navigate to the library section of the GNTC website. Look at the Galileo link. Galileo is your one-stop shop of all scholarly databases. Okay, so you're going to be able to find journals, books, all sorts of different source material pertaining to your topic, and you are going to use primarily journal articles to help you marshal forth your argument. And when you guys go to Galileo, you could browse by subject. And the subjects you guys are probably going to be interested in are things like science and technology, sociology, topical events, things of that sort. Because you're arguing, most of you, if not all of you, on something of societal import. Okay. We already went over some of the topics. Some of you have cleared topics with me, have come to me with thesis statements and that sort. Remember, you want to try to think of something that is, well, you've already written your paper, so it's a little too late to talk about this. You've already given me the first version of your argument, but things that are relevant today, but things we haven't heard of time and time and time again. Okay, so I look forward to seeing what you guys had to say and the research version in 2 weeks. Now, I just finished your descriptive essays. I've returned those to you. So my workload, I'm a little bit behind. I'm trying to prioritize essays right now to stay within the 2-week limit that I give myself for returning your essays around. Now, what that means is while I'm concentrating on those essays, what gets pushed to the back burner are the homework assignments, like the SEC exercises, the reader exercises, the journal, stuff like that. So I'm going to be playing catch up this week with your class homework assignments, and not just you all, but also another GNTC class and 4 classes at which I teach in person here in St. Augustine. So it's another week of bonkers bananas, grading for yours truly. So again, I don't mean to complain necessarily. It is the job that I chose after all. But I do appreciate your understanding and patience, folks. So what do you have to do for this week? This week you have a voluntary. You don't have to do this. However, it behooves you if you do, because more likely you're going to give yourself another 100, at the least an 85 in the grade column. That is a forum, a discussion forum, okay, a discussion board. Kind of like the one you guys had a few weeks ago. That was the last discussion board we had with the Hazlitt and Swift readings. I gave you 2 questions to answer. This one is a forum that kind of compels you all to start doing some Galileo research. And all you have to do is share your research experiences, okay? Have you been able to find pertinent information in the databases? How much success are you having? Maybe you want to give your fellow students some guidance or tips or anything like that. So this is a voluntary discussion forum. You don't have to participate. It will not count against you. You won't get a 0. You just won't get a grade for that assignment. If you do participate and you fulfill our classic requirements for a forum, which remember, one original post at least, responding to at least one other student's post, most likely you'll get 100. Okay. So a forum that asks you to engage with your research material in some way, to comment on the experience, to help your fellow students navigate the process for themselves. That is item number 1. It's voluntary. Now, item number 2 is compulsory. You must do it. This is our third journal. The journal for this week is on argument and persuasion, of course. Okay, it's the third of our 4 journal assignments. The final one is going to be on research. But this is what I ask you to do, is kind of think about how we use this this exercise of argument and persuasion today. When we talk to another person, or we're trying to convince that person to see things from our perspective, or when we are trying to listen to that other person to understand that other person's position a little better, are we doing this in good faith? We hear a lot about our day and time today. It's 2019, et cetera, et cetera. That's supposed to mean all sorts of things, apparently. But some things are undisputed, unequivocally true. We are awash in information, especially if you are on social media. People are, it's Twitter, et cetera. People are screaming at each other. They're scoring their little political points. Okay, they're virtue signaling. They're trying to get the public to like them, to think that they're good people. Okay, that's the cynic in me. I think a lot of people are doing that. Now, some people are having good faith arguments where they actually have a position, and while not trying to attack the opposition, they are trying to engage the opposition in an attempt to understand that opposition a little bit more. To me, argument and persuasion really is a way to bring us together. Okay, it's conversation. Okay, a free society, the cornerstone of a free society of America, is the ability to voice one's opinion. You don't have to agree with the opinion. You might take offense at the opinion. You then have the opportunity, the right, maybe even the obligation, to respond in kind, respectfully, maturely, civilly. Okay. So the journal asks you to kind of ponder the state of discourse today, the state of argumentation today. Are we doing it in good faith? Are we doing it so that we could actually start a conversation with one another? Or are we just kind of beating our chests, getting high on the sound of our own bloviating? Okay, what do you think? Okay, same thing as all the other journals, well, the 2 before this one, 2 to 3 paragraphs. It should be as best you can, grammar, error-free in terms of grammar and punctuation, write clean, crisp sentences. Okay, and if you do that, you should do well on that journal. Okay, so to reiterate, 2 things today, or this week, one of which is a voluntary discussion forum sharing your research experiences as you start to get going looking in the Galileo databases, the subject, browse by subject, and then the databases inside of each. Okay, Academic Search Complete is a good database. JSTOR is a good database. If you guys ever have a question on the validity or legitimacy of a database inside, you are free to ask me, and I will help you, or Mr. Churchwell as well. Okay. So I will be reading those argumentative papers. I probably won't be able to get to them till next week. Okay. But I'll do my best to get through them as timely and efficiently as I can. So that discussion forum, voluntary, mandatory, compulsory, the third journal assignment. Okay. So everybody, I hope you all are doing well and gearing up for a successful conclusion in the next few weeks of this 1101 half. Okay. And if you ever have any questions, concerns, come to me, email me. I must say, I'm pretty good about turning email correspondence around to you guys. So typically, if you've asked me a question, I do get around to answering that question, hopefully to your satisfaction. come to me, come to Mr. Churchwell. He and I are in communication throughout the week, okay? Of course, I'm not there with you all, but I have some idea of how you all are doing, okay? So keep that in mind. And I am going to sign off here and wish you all a great week 7. All right? Peace, and talk to you next week.